Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm going to be testing Atomic Heart on the Steam Deck. So we're starting with the native resolution, and I'm going to basically show you presets, 40 FPS configuration and 30 FPS configuration, focusing on quality. So as you can see here, we're on the medium preset with high TAA, basically everything else on medium. I cranked up the anisotropic filtering a little bit. And that's basically it. Also, make sure, as you can see at the top, it says shaders are being installed to optimize performance. So once that is done, you can start the game. So, okay, we start with medium settings, and let's see what happens. So as I was saying, the game is going to start with the prologue that is very long, like 20 minutes long. You're basically walking around and getting full-on exposition about this world. What I'll do is show you a very tiny slice of the prologue.
I really love this place.
Which looks incredible. I mean, let's be honest, visually it's pretty striking. I'm really into the art style. So again, as you can see, this is medium settings, native resolution, so no FSR enabled. FSR is completely disabled. Yeah. It basically starts like this. Let me show you very quickly another setting. So this is again medium. You can improve things by lowering shadows to low. So it jumps from 32 to 37. So if we're having performance issues, lower those shadows to low. We're going to focus more on that in a moment. But let's see low settings very quick. So instead of 32, we get 47. So if you want a 40 FPS cap, at least in this area, you need low settings. So we're going to focus more on this in a moment. You can do a 40 FPS cap and it will be pretty good. So let's go again to medium. And let me remove the FPS counter for a moment. So as I was saying, medium setting, TAA on high. I decided to lower the shadows. They actually still look good on low. Then on textures, medium, anisotropic filtering on 8 times, SSD, shader cache enabled, and that's basically it. This will be my best quality configuration if you want 30 frames, 800p. You can cap the FPS here if you want lower latency, and you can play with image sharpening as well, which is always good. I mean, yeah. And there's also FSR, but I do not recommend it. It's FSR 1. It looks pretty blurry on this one. So yeah, I'm going to be going through the prologue like this, focusing on a 30 FPS target. And I'll see in a few moments once I get into a more interesting location. Once I can start actually walking around. So see you in a moment. Okay, so now I can walk around actually. So one thing that you'll notice is that it can be pretty inconsistent on the performance side. You can look at one place and get 60s, then suddenly 30s. And there's some stutter here and there. There's some precompiled shaders from Valve, which should help. Plus the shader pre-compilation that it does in the main menu. But the thing is, after all this prologue and we get into a small open location with more trees and a little bit more action, it's going to get more demanding. And after that, unfortunately, we get underground. That is not demanding at all. It's like, what was the name of this? It's like double the performance, underground, indoors. So I think a good way to test it is to show you more open locations like this.
Everywhere except for China.
Again, this is my 30 FPS configuration, but again, inconsistency.
I like their spirit.
So lock it to 30 and you'll be good to
I
go.
hear it's nice there.
Indeed it is.
Also, you'll save some battery. So it's always good. Okay, I'm going to skip to the next part. Okay, very quick part here. Very interesting premise. Lots of characters. No AI there, of course. Still, I think it's pretty impressive what they achieved here graphically. And that it runs this well on the Steam Deck also. So yeah, now we're going to have to climb that place. Well, climb. Go through the elevator. And after that, well, it's going to be a slow flight in one of the cars. So yeah, I'm going to be skipping to that, but still, we're on the 30 FPS configuration. Remember, certain areas, especially this and the close locations, are going to be way higher frame rates than one the open world does, so we're going to get there eventually. So I'll see you in a more open location. Okay guys, I'm back into the game. Now something is going to happen now, which is good. There's finally a more demanding place. The only thing that I changed, I cranked up textures to high, because I saw that the VRAM wasn't really crazy high. But I'm still using medium settings, low shadows, high textures. So hopefully that means 30 frames. Again, lock it to 30 if you want a more consistent experience. Again, the open locations are the issue. Once you get outside, well, that's the thing. We're going to get underground after this short section, which will be double the performance, not worth benchmarking. So I'm taking advantage that I don't have to go 3-4 hours in to get to the absolute open world. This is a good reference in this part. So yeah, keep that in mind. As you can see here, we're sub 30 FPS. This happens at the very beginning. Pretty common. Fortunately, pretty common in this part. Come on, telekinesis. Give me the axe. Nice. Yeah, this is a DLC, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure that axe is red.
Wizard, this is P3.
So as you can see now, this is 30 frames. Again, medium settings. Let me show you the settings super quick.
Nothing here is the way it's supposed to be.
So settings. Native resolution, 1280 by 800. Quality, basically the medium preset with high TAA. Then textures on high. Maybe try this on medium if you have lots of stutter or something. So far it's been fine on my end. That's about it. That's my 30 FPS configuration. This is probably the settings I will be using in real life. Although just log it to 30.
And caused the civilian robots to attack facility employees.
So yeah.
Petrov has the access codes for the hub. Your mission is to find him and bring him to me.
Anyway,
Copy that, sir.
so that's the 30 FPS configuration. As you can see, it's over 30. Sometimes it drops below 30 in certain cutscenes. But it's fine.
I've swum through polymer plenty of times and I haven't drowned yet. It's a frickin' miracle of modern science.
To expect performance like this in the open world, mostly 30 FPS, but just do this. Go here, lock it to 30, and there you go. Good times. I'll stay at 30 basically all the time. Some exceptions, but still. Anyway, so many of you, myself included, know that there's a 40 Hz mode for the Steam Deck. You can change the refresh rate of the screen. So we're going to try and get a 40 FPS target. So let's unlock the frame rate. Unfortunately, I cannot change the refresh rate of the screen while capturing. So let's see. Let me see with these settings, by just enabling FSR on quality, I can get 40 FPS or more. Okay, you actually can. So if you use quality FSR, it looks pretty soft, honestly. You can get into the 40s, but it looks super soft. Although on the Steam Deck screen, it doesn't look as bad as you're seeing on YouTube. So this is one option, if you want to keep medium settings. But the other option, which I prefer for extra sharpness, is to go for the low preset, which doesn't look as good. I'll just crank up the anti-aliasing a little and the textures to high, and then isotropic filtering. So if you put it on low like this, you apply the changes, you get rid of FSR, so the softness is no longer there, which is always good. and we got everything on low with native resolution, you get 50s. So there is 10 frames of room to spare for a 40 FPS lock. The game doesn't look as good as medium. It still looks pretty good, in my opinion. And if you don't mind sacrificing that, you can put a 40 FPS lock, put the refresh rate at this menu at 40 Hz, and you should be good to go. There's some stutter here and there.
Holy shit. Hey, Glove.
Yes, Major.
Oh yeah, I think this is the way to do it. Just don't use FSR on this one, it looks too soft.
2.0.
The game by itself already looks soft,
The community service
but
at the Vavel.
FSR in this game is FSR 1. Hopefully FSR 2 comes in the future, but as of right now,
Underground levels of the
I
Vavel.
cannot recommend FSR.
We'll have to find a
So
way
medium
to-
settings, high textures for 30 FPS. And then you got the,
Live in there?
what's the name of this? Low settings on native resolution for the 40 FPS cap. Maybe a 45 FPS cap actually will work.
Get away from me.
But 60s is not possible unless you lower the resolution further, which is an option, but I do not recommend it. Because the menus get unreadable at lower than 800p.
Fuck yourself.
So yeah, now we're going to watch this cutscene, that is in real time, about the grandma, the badass grandma. So yeah, at least we have high textures, so it doesn't look like a muddy mess. But again, there's frames to spare here when you're looking at walls, the sky, or something less complex. And what comes after this is the,
Yeah, I noticed.
what's the name of
Thanks for the
this?
help, man.
The underground section, which is like 2 hours long,
What are you doing here
or
anyway?
3 hours long,
Oh, just passing through.
until you get to the open world. So this is a good reference, but once you get underground, it's no longer a good reference. You get double the performance as
Fine, I
outside.
get it. So what's going on here? Lots
Oh,
of
yeah.
casualties.
Once the robots will attack now, you're going to see more drops. Hopefully it stays over 40, but since this is a cutscene, I don't
I could
mind
really
it
use
too
a
much.
weapon. You got anything?
40-45 FPS cap should be okay. But otherwise, I'm pretty impressed. I wasn't expecting being able to get a 40-45 FPS cap on the Steam Deck, which I think is
Vavilov
way
complex?
smoother than
That's where I'm
30.
headed.
I mean, it's a major difference visually.
Your lucky day.
It looks
I'm
super
heading that way
smooth
too.
in comparison to 30.
It's basically safe.
But if you don't mind, if you want medium settings that looks better, especially in the shadows
We've got 30 seconds.
place
Move your
with
ass.
low
20
shadows,
seconds until what?
it looks better.
30
Let's be honest,
seconds until
medium
we're
looks
fucked,
way better
sonny
than
boy.
low on this
Royally
game.
fucked.
So if you want better quality, you can do medium,
Get
which
over
is
here,
not a
beefcake.
bad trade-off, honestly,
Take this
if
key
you don't
and
mind
turn
30
it
frames.
clockwise.
Just make sure that you lower shadows to low.
Yeah, like that.
It's too expensive
I'll
to
hold
have
them off
shadows
for
on
now.
medium. You get better draw distance, but you're probably going to drop below 30 more often.
Here we go.
It's an option, but I'd rather
Riding my ass for
lower
2
the shadows to
days
low.
now. Take that.
Okay, so here comes a demanding cutscene. Again, remember, this is a cutscene, so it's going to be more extreme, especially with the amount of fire you're going to see. But again, lucky to 40, play the game, it's going to be mostly into the 40s. This is, again,
I got this.
something that you won't see in actual gameplay, all that fire on screen. But yeah, badass grandma. And this robot now is attacking us. So now we're just going underground, which means that it's the end of the video on the Steam Deck. Why is the end of the video? Because again, underground makes no sense to benchmark it. It's double the frame rate as outside. And once you get outside again, well, good luck. It's going to be just as I showed you before falling down this elevator shaft. Oh yeah. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did playing it. I played it so many times now, this section. I know it by
What
by
a
memory.
goddamn clusterfuck.
So again, in this section you can play at 60 frames. Once you get outside though, you're going to be back into the performance I showed you a moment ago. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys.